Unfortunately, most men are very close to losing it. And no, it's not just you. What do I mean by losing it? I mean mentally, emotionally, maybe even physically. You're burnt out, stressed, at breaking point, angry, fed up, and frustrated. And maybe worse than that, you're at the point of no return. You're about to lose control. You could scream, shout, cry, break down. You just have had enough. I know what that's like. When you have many setbacks, many rejections, when you are basically in a situation where you cannot get out of, when you're trying your best, you're doing everything, you're pushing the boundaries, you're trying to stay positive, it just takes its toll on you. In my 20s, when I was way more immature and I lacked self awareness and quite foolish, when I was close to losing it, I would just run away. I would just be away from my home, away from family, friends, whatever, and I'd be on my own. I'd go to a pub, I'd go to a bar, I'd drive for hours on end. I just needed to be away from everything and everyone. And I'd distract myself with the wrong things. I'd drink, I would stay out all hours, I'd have coffee at like 12 o'clock at night. And worst of all is I developed a gambling addiction. For 14 years, I was addicted to gambling. And then I associated that with the more money I made as I got older with my vice. That was going to be the way that I would deal with life's problems. If I was close to losing it, I would run to the casino, to betting shops, etc., and just gamble. And then obviously, towards the end, I would gamble a lot online. It was the stupidest thing I ever did. I lost a ton of money, and luckily I've been clean and sober now for 5 years. But the point is, that's what I used to do. When I felt triggered, when I felt rejected, when I felt upset, when I was stressed, when a deal fell through, whatever it was, I was close to losing it. I couldn't handle life. No one had prepared me for it. I didn't know what to expect. And I'd BS myself and fell for the lies, thinking that this is the way to go and everything's going to work out. But life in the world doesn't work out that way. At the end of the day, I just don't want you to make my mistake. I don't want you to run away when you're close to losing it. I don't want you to associate with the wrong people, because trust me, they will find you. I don't want you to gamble. I don't want you to smoke. I don't want you to do drugs, etc. What I want you to do is speak to, if you are really struggling with your mental health, a trained medical professional. In the past, on this channel, I used to recommend a service to do so, but I don't do that anymore. Instead, I want you to do your own due diligence. But even if you can't speak to a therapist, talk to someone. Find a community. Do not keep this bottled up. You need to vent. Some of the best times in my life have been me venting, getting off my chest, and then finding a bit of scripture, a motivational video, speaking to the right person, changing my perspective, and recognizing and realizing through time and perseverance that things do get better. But I'll touch on that a little bit later in this video. But also, men are shamed for asking for help, and that's why they're close to losing it. Even in their workplaces, men are afraid to ask for help, for advice. Even when it comes to personal issues, professional issues, anything, you need to ask for help. You need to get advice. You are not Superman. You're not Einstein. We need advice. We need guidance in our lives. Without that guidance, without that help, without that advice, sometimes we could be going down a very dark path. We could be going down the wrong path. We could lose all of our money. We could lose our heads. We could lose our health, God forbid, if we're not careful as well. Never be ashamed for asking for help. And that is why men are close to losing it, because they're seen as weak. They're seen as beta males. They're seen as pathetic, seen as simps. Oh, you're so sad and pathetic for asking for help. Listen, stop the tough guy act. Stop trying to pretend to be something you're not. You need to be a real man. And the bravest thing a real man can do is hold his hand up and say, I don't know this. I'm lost. I'm going through a rough time. I need help. Please help me. It's not to be stuck in that misery and desperation. It's to realize and recognize that it's not working out for you right now, and then pull yourself out of the mire, out of the hell, and then turn a corner. The only person that can do that, the only person that can begin that and end it, is you. Take responsibility. Take personal responsibility as well, to recognize and realize that asking for that help is not embarrassing or shameful. It is incredibly courageous and extremely brave. Before we continue, take charge of your future with personalized one-on-one coaching with me, SCG. Get tailored advice, actionable strategies, and the support you need to overcome life's challenges and hopefully achieve your goals. Book your session with me today in the description and pinned comment below. Book a time and date that suits you. I would absolutely love to connect with you guys. Another reason why men are so close to losing it is they are trapped in toxic workplaces. Imagine being in a hell that is your job, in a career that is your job, with horrible workmates, a horrible boss, and a just soul destroying job and career that is just making your life a living hell. A reason why men get so close to losing it is particularly in the winter, post-Christmas, post-New Year, where it's cold, where it's wet, where it's miserable, where the traffic's awful, where things are slow at work. It's that grind. It's where they never see sunlight. It's where they never have a life, where they're so exhausted and they hate their job, they hate their commute, and they hate just life in general. They're so close to losing it because their job becomes more stressful, because it's toxic to begin with, and it's because they hate it overall. Let's say a man is single, desperate, and alone. What's he going to do to meet a woman? 9 times out of 10, if he's stressed and so burnt out, he's not going to go out as such. He's going to do the convenient thing of loading up a dating app. But dating apps, when men are feeling vulnerable like this, especially, destroy self-esteem. For exactly 1 year, I never went on a date from a dating app. I tried everything, every angle, every photo, every prompt, etc. I paid for everything, and nothing worked for me. I cannot begin to tell you what was on top of a very difficult time in my life as well, how much that destroyed my confidence. Because even if you get a match, there's no guarantee of a date. Even if you pay for the services, it's the same thing. To feel constantly ghosted, rejected, and competing with so many other men on these applications that are designed nowadays to keep you single rather than to get you actually the intimacy, love, and relationship you want is just soul destroying. I've said it once and I'll say it again, and it's a very hot topic. There are a lack of male role models here, and that hurts. And that's why men are close to losing it. Because sometimes if a good male role model was in their lives and told them the right thing to guide them the right way, maybe life would be easier. I lost my dad in 2020, and I never realized how big a loss that was as I've gotten older, because he was the head of the family. He was wise, and I took him for granted when he was alive. But I would do anything right now to have him here with me, to guide me, to advise me, to put his arm around me and tell me everything's okay. But you can have a dad that's alive and still not be a good male role model. This is why certain influencers have grown, taking advantage of men who are close to losing it, saying all the right things, but never actually guiding them the right way. It hurts when a man is on his knees and desperate and so lost and so confused with life, when all he needs is that arm around him and telling him where to go the right way. Men are still, despite on their knees, desperate, lost, close to losing it, they're expected to fix everything. They're expected to be perfect. They're expected to be stoic. They're expected to not be emotional. They're expected to be millionaires, to be successful, and so on. But success is never enough anymore anyway. But also, how can you fix everything all the time? You can't have all the answers always. You can't be completely stoic all the time. You can't be non-emotional, not a robot. You are human beings. But expected to fix everyone and everything is such a cliche and so outdated as well. Whilst women are celebrated for their struggles and are banded together and they've got their tribes and everything, men struggle with that. And even if they have a tribe, there are certain friends, there are certain relationships where they can't go deep, where they can't open up, where they feel misunderstood, or worse of all, they feel judged. Ultimately, the man that is burnt out, exhausted, drained, and so tired of everything has been grinding. But what's the return on investment from the grind? Even if you start a business and you try to make a lot of money, What is a lot of money nowadays? What do you want out of life? You see, those goalposts originally made sense. I want to make 100 grand a year. I want to do this. I want to retire early, whatever. But if you haven't realized it, those goalposts have got larger and larger and larger and wider as time has gone on. And them getting wider means they're not worth it anymore. And then you've lost your way. And you don't realize why you did it in the first place. Then you've wasted 10, 20, 30 years trying to get somewhere which is now outdated and is now seen as quite foolish and a waste of time. If you're close to losing it or have lost it, I get it. I've done it many times. But I know it's cliche, but this is a storm. It might be the longest storm ever. It might be the worst storm ever. But if you keep doing what you're doing, if you don't change your perspective, if you don't ask for help, if you don't try something new, if you don't try and become self-aware and try and improve and push through it, you will stay in this storm forever. But those who do push through the adversity come out the other side wiser, better, with the battle scars and the wounds and the PTSD, but they actually appreciate the little things. After the storm comes the rainbow. And when you're at the other side, sipping a cup of tea, relaxed, admiring nature, you become grateful, humble, modest, and wiser, and realize that you had to go through that to grow through it as well. This is life. Unfortunately, this happens to all of us. And we must push through as men. And remember the poem from Rudyard Kipling. If you can keep your head when all around them are you losing theirs, yours is the earth and everything in it, and you'll be a man. That's a man, not an alpha male, not red pill, nothing like that. A man is those who keep their head. Don't lose it. Don't lose control. Don't make my mistake. Stay strong and push through the storm. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like this video, subscribe and hit the bell notification if you haven't already. And also share this video with someone who you think would really gain value from the message that's in it. If you're close to losing control, please share your experiences and thoughts and emotions in the comments below. And let's band together as brothers to support one another so we can make it through life together. Maybe one comment is all you need to get through to the other side. Stay strong. Good luck. Reach out for help to the right people. And thanks for watching.